Welcome to Screen Junkies News. I'm Roth Cornet. I'm here with Mr. Dan Murrell.
Hello. Breaking news.
Breaking news. Star Wars news. We had this last week as well.
Yeah.
Colin Trevorrow left Star Wars Episode 9 by a mutually decided decision between him and Lucasfilm.
Sure.
And today it was revealed that J.J. Abrams, as you predicted, is back on board to direct Episode 9 and co-write it with Chris Terrio.
But that's not all. We covered that on SGU this morning, but it was announced not too long ago. The release date has also been changed. It was set to release on May 24th, 2019. It has now been pushed to December 20th, 2019. So it will come out essentially 2 years after Episode 8. It was going to be a year and a half. But now we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer for the end of this new Star Wars trilogy.
And that is good news.
It is to me. Yeah, definitely.
That is good news. It means they are taking their time. Clearly, they are reworking the script, as we just said, J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. So they want to do that first and get that right, and then go into production on the film. So this feels like a great move from Lucasfilm.
I advocated for this move when we were talking about Trevorrow leaving the project last week, just because, the cautionary tale being for me, The Hobbit, which was when Guillermo del Toro, for scheduling reasons, had to leave, and they brought Peter Jackson in. Even Peter Jackson, with that abbreviated time frame, was not able to execute, and he basically invented that world for the screen anyway. Was not able to execute it in a way that, admittedly, even he wanted to. I mean, he openly and publicly has said, I didn't have the time that I needed. There were some things that there had to be redesigns. There were some things that just didn't work and that I had to take shortcuts on, and there just wasn't enough time because we had to get these movies done. Yeah. So as a movie fan and a Star Wars fan, I'm very kind of heartened to hear that Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm and Disney looked at this situation and said, we would rather get this right, hopefully, or at least give JJ the opportunity to make this his movie than to really fast track. In less than 2 years, to bring on a completely new director who's going to rework the script, who knows how much, and get the movie out in less than 2 years, that's a tall order. It's already a tall order to get it done by December 2019. But I'm happy to see them kind of take a breath and take a beat and say, let's back off this date. Let's try to get this right.
It's funny because with The Hobbit, some of the crew members from that film have said that Peter Jackson just sort of seemed like he gave up. And I think that we've seen movies suffer from that before, where directors were already burnt out and just didn't have it in them to complete as strongly as they would like to. So with that said, Rian Johnson's probably far too busy completing the film that he just did, which was a large endeavor. So JJ rested up, coming back in to finish off the trilogy with JJ Abrams in and Colin Trevorrow out. Yeah. We didn't get your opinion this morning. Do you feel confident? Are you excited?
I think that, I was a fan of Force Awakens. I gave it a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Now, once we see Episode 8, that maybe some of that benefit of the doubt may dissipate, but I felt like that movie had to please so many different kinds of fans, new Star Wars fans, old Star Wars fans. It did, I think, lean a little too heavily on stuff from the past, on another Death Star, but I thought that there was enough there. I liked the new characters. I thought Harrison Ford was great in the movie. There was enough there for me to like that it overshadowed what I didn't like about the movie. I understand people that didn't like it. I do. But I thought it was a good movie. So I'm excited to see JJ back. We talked before, it would have been so hard for someone outside of the universe of this new Star Wars movies to come in at this point and take over. So I'm actually a little more confident in the movie, only because instead of having to bring in a new director who's not been through the system, who doesn't know the creatives, who hasn't even worked with the cast and the crew, you now have somebody coming in who knows everybody. And that's just a lot of work that doesn't have to be done. That getting to know each other. He knows Kathleen Kennedy. He knows the cast. You don't have to do this getting to know you thing, feeling each other out, getting the rhythm. It's great that they have a shorthand. And so I thought that if it wasn't JJ or Rian Johnson, that it would have been very difficult for them to get up to speed. So, I think this is a move that makes sense to me. Whether Episode 9 transcends those shortcomings that Force Awakens had, we'll see. Again, I see why people thought that was maybe leaned a little bit too much on echoing the future films. But, this is a move that made sense to me, and we'll see where we go from here. But the interesting showdown, with the date change now.
Right.
It's kind of like when Batman v Superman and at what was at that time called Captain America 3, but then Civil War were supposed to open on the same date. It is now December 13th, 2019 has been announced as the release date for Wonder Woman 2. And now Star Wars Episode 9 has been announced for December 20th, 2019. 1 week later. So conventional wisdom says you don't want two massive blockbusters like that opening within a week of each other. Is Wonder Woman going to move? It's the same kind of brinksmanship that Disney and Warner Brothers were playing with Batman v Superman and Civil War. I don't think Disney's going to blink because they've come under that date now. Is Warner Brothers now going to blink and say, let's move Wonder Woman 2 up a little bit? Even just a few weeks.
Yeah, I remember at the time I was working at a different outlet and my colleague and I were having that bet about who would blink first. And it was ultimately, at that time, it was Warner Brothers and they moved their date. I'm curious here because they believe in Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's been a big success for them. I feel like if they were to move the date at this point, it shows a lack of confidence in Wonder Woman potentially, but it's not good for either movie to be competing with each other. I mean, look, Kathleen Kennedy is showing great confidence in her relationship with J.J. Abrams to move it back. People are now used to Star Wars being kind of a Christmas movie. Yeah. But I don't want to, as a fan, I just don't want them to have to compete. I just want enough room between the two of them. And I wouldn't mind, and I won't care if Wonder Woman moves. Make it a Thanksgiving movie, whatever. Sure. If you can. I
wouldn't think that it's a lack of confidence to move Wonder Woman because I think that Warner Brothers has a great deal of confidence. I would almost be more emboldened by Warner Brothers moving the date at this point, saying like, you know what? We believe that you're going to make a great movie and we want to give it the time to breathe. And so we're going to move the date. I think we're going to see that happen. Yeah. I think it's going to move back, not much, but to, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, the last weekend in December, maybe the first week in December, the last week in November. It just makes sense because this summer proved that the marketplace can't necessarily wholly support two blockbusters. And Star Wars, unless something catastrophic happens between now and 2019, Star Wars eats up every bit of oxygen in the room. It just sucks the marketplace dry, especially Episode 9. Depending on what happens in 8, it's the conclusion to the trilogy. Yeah. You just don't want to mess with it. So
Warner Brothers, if you're listening, and we know you are,
we're not going to blame you.
We're not going to blame you. It's going to be fine. We're going to love both movies. It would be great to have it move a little bit or later. No, it's not going to go into January. We know that. Yeah. If anything, it would go, I wonder what's coming out on Thanksgiving.
I'd have to look at the 2019 schedule. Again, as you get out, particularly more than 6 months or even a year, these dates, these announced dates, those are really studios planting flags. They're changeable. You can change the project even of what's coming. Marvel has done that for so long. Just like, oh, Inhumans is coming out in 2020, and then the next year they're like, well, no, maybe not Inhumans, but something is coming out in 2020. So these dates are all so malleable. Yeah. I don't think it's a huge deal for them to move it at this point, and they should, just for the sake of both, and more for the sake of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman can compete with Star Wars, but why even do it? It just doesn't make sense.
Why make the movies compete? Let's have lots of good things. It'll be a great year for movies. I think that this is a great move on the studio's part. As we said, confidence in the creators, a little more time to come out with a movie that we hopefully will enjoy. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you looking forward to Episode 9? More so, less so, medium so, same so? Let us know. I'm Roth Cornet.
I'm Dan Murrell.
And we will see you next time. Click here for more awesome Screen Junkies news and click the logo to subscribe.